first read the assignment for this speech, I was a little worried about what I would write about. Then I remembered a research paper that I just wrote last semester on Parkinson's disease. When I was doing my research for this topic, I stumbled upon an article called Parkinson's Disease, Clinical Features and Diagnosis. It was this piece of research that gave me everything I needed to be well informed about the topic. I found this article in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery and Psychiatry, volume 79, and it was published September 4, 2007. The author's name, Professor J. Jankovic of Department of Neurology from the Parkinson's Disease Center of Movement Disorders Clinic of Baylor College of Medicine. My reason for choosing this article derives from my sparked interest about my grandfather and his history of Parkinson's. Jankowic's thesis statement states that Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurological disorder characterized by a large number of motor and non-motor features that can have an impact on function to a variable degree. Today I will be discussing 3 of the 4 cardinal features that Jankovic recognizes as distinguishing factors to Parkinson's disease: tremor at rest, rigidity, and bradykinesia. I will begin by discussing the tremor at rest. This can be defined as the involuntary shaking or trembling of one's hands. It is this feature that gives the disease its nickname as the shaking palsy. This was one of the predominant clues that made me realize that this was my grandfather's disease that he had been suffering from. Even though he had once been a man with many reasons to keep his head held high with honor, the tremor effect of this disease eventually had him hiding his trembling hands in his pocket of shame. Rigidity is the second symptom that I began to notice. It can be recognized as an increased resistance of the joints of when trying to move. I noticed this in my grandfather when he would try to help him stand and his ankles would be so stiff that this soon became a difficult task. It even caused him to lose his balance and fall a good bit as well. Rigidity is also known to be painful and to be accompanied by a tremor. The last cardinal feature of this disease that Jankovic wrote about that I am about to discuss today is bradykinesia. This can be characterized as a slowness in movement. However, not only is it a physical slowness, but it can also be accompanied by a delay in the reaction times. However, not only is it a physical slowness, but it is also accompanied by a delay in reaction times. Bradykinesia can also be noticed as an inability to perform a task that requires fine motor skills, which is one that they perform tests on to see if bradykinesia is actually the problem. It can eventually lead to drooling as a result of impaired swallowing. This became noticeable in my grandfather in many activities of daily living that I would see him attempt, especially during conversation and when trying to feed himself. In closing, tremor at rest, rigidity, and bradykinesia are all common symptoms of Parkinson's disease that were discussed by Jankovic in his article. Even though there is no cure for this disease, Jankovic expresses that there are things that can be done to make one's life easier by treating symptoms. The disease itself isn't half bad. Parkinson's is just a neurological disorder that shakes up the body a little. It may take a toll on the minds and bodies of those that it affects, but it does not take away their chances at living a happy life. My grandfather is a prime example. Parkinson's disease may make living a little harder, but the quality of life is left up to the person living.